trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite. Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
Welcome to Hanging Loose, a disc golf podcast, hosted by Shanked DG and Spicy Boy. Today's guest, welcome back, Crunchy DG.
Welcome to the Hanging Loose podcast.
Oh, fuck. He got me with that one.
Welcome to the Hanging Loose podcast. I am Shank DG. With me, as always, is
Spicy Boy. We are brought to you by Great Lakes Disc, and we're not going to forget this week.
Yeah. You're welcome, Papa. I'm sorry, Papa.
Still, thank you, Papa.
Yes, thank you. Use code Hanging Loose at checkout. Get 10% off, save a few pennies, and we get to take those pennies on our end.
And we save them up for years to come, and we put them in a Coinstar, and then we buy one disc because that's all they sell.
Yep, just the one. We're all bidding for the same one.
Great Lakes Disc. How you been, buddy?
I've been.
It's so weird when we only talk here, really.
Yeah, I mean, we DM briefly
throughout the week,
but nothing in depth. So it's weird. Podcast friends, right?
Friend.
We've been P friends. Piss boy.
The worst part is you could rearrange the letters of my name and just write Pissy Boy, and
Pissy Boy.
I don't like that. Didn't think of that when I signed up.
Yeah, been great. Been finally playing a little bit of disc golf, which this is what this podcast is about, right? So
sometimes when we remember.
Last Saturday I played in my first quote unquote event. It's not a sanctioned event, but it was a random draw doubles tournament.
Nice. Called
Disc Miss Dubs. We get a couple free frisbees, play for some money, ace pot, all that junk.
Mm-hmm.
And
you had to throw in?
I had a throw in. It was electric. First hole, hole 3 is where we started. Because I drew the black 3. And yeah, had a throw in. Off the tee, hit immediately first tree. And I was like, great, that's an awesome way to start the tournament. And then my partner throws his up shot, puts it to like 15 feet, which was a great shot in and of itself. And I was like, shit, well, I'm gonna run it. I'm either gonna make it or go OB. And threw my zone on a tiny little flex and just never could have gone anywhere else, straight in the bucket.
I love that. That takes.
And then proceeded to par every other hole.
I saw that scorecard on Twitter. It made me laugh. I was like, God, dude, I've been there. And it's so funny because
just par.
That you remember I was telling you my first round of the year with all my homies. There was like 4 throw-ins in 3 holes. So welcome. Now you're officially part of the club.
Right. It wasn't a terrible way to start. Big Woods is pretty tough. We played the short pads, which they just put in last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it a little bit easier. I'm a little disappointed. I don't know who designed it, but it wasn't the normal guy in our area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little disappointed with the short layout because they just put in, I think there were 14 pads put in for the shorts. So 14 of the holes now have short pad. And they're all the same shot. They're just straight or tiny flex. They're all just the same shot over and over again. And it kind of makes it boring, but it then turns the round into like an endurance thing. Like how many times can you hit that line without messing up?
Well, I mean,
turns out that number is neg 14. So
you and your neg talk. Wow, that sounds awful.
Ooh, cut that.
Or don't. I mean, I said
he said what he said.
Party. Yeah, that's kind of how Los is. Like my home course is just.
I'm sure that sounds great.
This reminds me of that white girl TikTok where she goes, "Is there a sound better than this?" And she like,
yeah,
coffee cup, and it's like, yeah, every sound. No one gives a shit about your iced coffee, Brittany.
Chains, for instance.
Yeah. That's
Ching.
my sound when I get a text is chains.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's like
It's a great idea.
it's early 2000 shit right there. You buy that off the
No, I
Razor App Store.
I genuinely know how to just make my own ringtones on an iPhone, so I don't.
That's actually kind of cool.
It's not hard at all. You can Google it, I promise. But yeah, here we go. Text. Hold on.
Oh, that came in crisp.
Yeah, and then
Hell yeah.
ringtone is.
That's not coming in very well. Oh, is that Jomez? Yeah, there we go.
And then I think my voicemail.
I thought I was gonna be rocking to Brock. Throwbacks to Central Coast.
Yeah, this one will be
Starframe.
Yeah, that's my voicemail.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm a fucking golf nerd.
Hell yeah, dog.
And Jomez has some of the best music on the post-production circuit, so I was not ashamed to use it at all. It's really funny whenever my phone goes off during a round because people are like, "What? This is sick, bro!" And it's like it took me 40 seconds. Actually, those chains for my text ringtone are hole number 1 of the memorial. It's that basket.
Oh, nice.
Specifically
that basket. That's cool.
When we go play Vista for like 2 or 3
when you miss
holes,
your putt, you just get real quick.
No,
and you're like, no, I made it. Didn't you hear it? I made it.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Any news you'd like to share, or?
I don't think so. Spicy rocking the Only the Best t-shirt.
My boys.
OTB.
Gotta
shout out Dynamic Discs for not hiring me.
Thanks, Giovanni. Actually, the only disc golf sticker I have on my car is a Dynamic. It's that same exact logo.
Oh yeah,
it's black on a black car with like black windows, so you
can barely see it.
You don't know it's there until you're a foot from it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. No, I do have a little bit of news, but do you have a story time this week to like? I think mine kind of leads into Crunchy's segment. So, oh yeah, we're having Crunchy on.
Crunchy?
Yeah, Mr. Granola himself.
Mr. Granola. Story time this week would be I suppose I could just share my exciting new acquisition. Hold on.
Acquisition?
Yeah,
Spicy is conglomerate.
Conglommo makes me think of. Can you name the cartoon that Conglommo's from?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's going to be our giveaway this week. First person in the comments to tell me what cartoon the company Conglommo is from will win our giveaway. Also, today's Thursday. I still have not been to the post office. I've been a very bad host. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. I'm trying desperately, and I'm going through a lot of life things right now. And I'll get there. Tomorrow is the goal.
Hell yeah!
So let's pick the giveaway disc. No. This one. All right. So whoever tells me where Conglommo is from is going to win this OTB Tim Barham Buzz SS.
Ooh, Buzz SS.
Nice. It's a, I believe it is a blue glow plastic. I'm not 100% on that, but
looks
it's a gorgeous disc. It is supplied by my friends at OTB.
OTB.
So whoever first comment that tells me the name of the show that Conglommo's from will win that. My story time. I haven't opened it yet because it just came in today, but look at my address. I don't need you guys showing up to my one-bedroom apartment.
Spicy live.
Phoenix, I'll tell you that much. I posted on Twitter not long ago about. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you can hear great.
Okay. I posted on Twitter not long ago looking for inexpensive solutions for disk storage or disk racks, and our very good friends at D-Clip. They make really great clips for discs to hang on walls. He reached out and was kind enough to send me a wall rack. Look at this belly shit. A wall rack. So this is a 48 disc wall rack. I just got it in the mail about 25 minutes ago. So I haven't put it up yet or opened it, but I'm very excited to have a place to store my discs that's not the bottom of the basket.
Yes. Shout out D-Clip. Big time.
D-Clip. I believe they sent me a D-Clip to give away as well.
They actually they connected to Papa through our podcast, right?
Was that who reached out?
I think it was. I think that's
Oh,
who reached out to Papa after watching his episode with us, and that's why Great Lakes and D-Clip are kind of buddy right now.
Interesting. I had no idea it was them. I know he said
I think it's
somebody had reached
secretly
out.
Brian behind the D-Clip account.
Is it?
It might be.
Is it or is it not?
It's my theory.
Oh, well,
Maybe.
I can tell you, he was a lot nicer than Brian is to me, so I don't think so.
Sick. Down with the sickness.
Hell yeah. But I'm really excited to use that and put it up because, like I said, life changes. We may or may not be reconciling some things. But either way, I'm completely redoing my apartment, and disk storage was a big part of that. So that's my story time this week. Shout out D-Clip. We will give away your clip on the next episode for sure.
Ooh, they sent some stuff. Hell yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and... Was that it for your story time this week? Hell yeah. All right. I'm going to quickly drop this in a Crunchy's DM and get him in here while I start this story.
Sure, it's a lot better than what you normally send him.
Yeah, it depends who you ask. So, my story time this week.
I hate you.
It's so cold.
Is it cosmically cold?
Oh, yeah. Out of this world. So juicy. Oh.
And I'm over here eating reheated pizza. Thanks, Cosmic. You could have sponsored the whole podcast.
Yeah. So, I'm an Apple guy now. I'm sure anyone who's watching this has seen on social media because I have been obnoxious with it.
It's good though. It's really something to be proud of.
So on TikTok, I had a guy comment. Or no, it was Instagram. I had a guy comment, and he's like, "This is huge. This is bigger than Macbeth's $10 million deal or whatever." And I was like,
it has the potential to
sweet. No, yeah, and I think it's a good step in the door for they're a good company. So that kind of goes into my story time today, right? Is that how this started? So I watched this podcast called, I listened to it because I don't have a video version, called Fuckface, and RV3 do the beep thing. I listened to a podcast called Fuckface, and so it started when about like last year I did a similar campaign where I was like, I'm sponsored by Fuckface and like trying to get their attention. Never happened. Found a few people in the community that also listen to that podcast, which was kind of neat. Like RV3 listens to that podcast. Anyways, 6 months later on the show, they they started going on about Cosmic Crisp, who it's the newest Apple on the market, right? Yeah, new Apple just dropped like an album. And so they did a whole thing, and then Cosmic Crisp was like, yeah, dude, we'll throw ads on your show and be like super supportive of it. And which was crazy because how do you as a company like Cosmic Crisp sponsor a show called Fuckface? And so that led to a couple weeks ago. Hello, Crunchy. Get your booty in here.
Yeah. It's weird that he showed up right when you said Fuckface.
It is.
I'm like a genie, but no rubbing lamps. You just have to curse at people.
I'm midst of Apple talk.
Oh, sick.
So yeah, I started posting briefly, not briefly, like a couple weeks on Twitter, being like, "Oh, this Apple's sick. You guys should follow them." Blah blah. Just doing like it was a joke, it was a joke. It was an inside joke for me because it's a joke on a different podcast. And it garnered some weird attention from disc golf Twitter. And I was like, okay. So I shot Cosmic Crisp a DM. I was like, hey, you guys should sponsor me. I don't want anything from you except a yes. And that's all I sent them. Like 2 weeks go by and I get a DM in the morning and I open it and they're like, hey, Caleb, thanks for reaching out. Thanks for your patience. We talked to the marketing team and we're interested in partnering a deal with you. I proceeded to run around my living room like a little kid, just doing laps. And yeah, cheers.
More Apple. The A in ASMR stands for Apple.
Crunchy.
And not the $1 billion corporation.
Right. Absolutely. How you been, buddy? It's good to have you back on.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked to be here as always. Everything's good. I've been doing this thing where I'm like, so I got really sick early January. I lost like 10 pounds because I didn't eat anything.
I found them.
Then it was, oh, don't worry. It came back. Like that was like right after the holidays. So I'm sure it was my in-laws that got me sick. I'll just blame them. And then
Oh, no.
it was like single digit weather here and we got like an ice storm and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't play disc golf for almost 4 weeks. So I've been doing this thing where I play disc golf every day, either like practice putting or going out and do casual rounds or field work, or I'm doing it every day of February. So
Gotcha. Is that what you've been doing with your TikTok and Instagram lives? Have you putting in your garage?
Yep. If like those days where the weather's bad, I putt in the garage and stuff. And that's gotten some odd attention that I wasn't expecting. Those TikTok lives where I think last time it was like a 55-minute live, right? But it had apparently 12,000 views.
Holy smokes.
I don't know, man. It was real strange and I wasn't expecting it to happen like that. But
wow.
The first time I did it, I only got like a few hundred maybe. And I know those, it's TikTok. So the numbers are inflated in some way, whether or not, like, you know what, it throws it on some algorithm, it hits a bunch of people's feed and they just scroll by it, right? Like that's what TikTok is.
It's that initial, like when you post a TikTok and you check an hour later and it's got 230 views, you know you're screwed.
Right. So it's been a lot of that where, so I'm sure a lot of those numbers are that, but then I see that it has X amount of likes. So I know there's at least people hanging out for a second.
Yeah. And it's the difference between impressions and engagement, right? It's like,
yes,
that impressions number doesn't really mean anything.
Right. That's just a good number. You want to figure out like a ratio, like your impressions to engagement ratio, especially. So
I've always heard 6%.
Yeah, that's really close. I've said 5 to 10 is like great. So the super quick background on me, I did photography for like 5 years, decided that Indiana, the first quarter of the year is non-existent for photography because it's just freezing, that it looks like dead outside and nobody wants to spend money because they don't have the taxes yet. So I started a business with a guy. He's basically just a silent partner, but I run social medias for small businesses. So just that's what I do. And
it's really cool.
I'm not kidding. I started TikTok because I was like, well, if I'm going to start this business, I got to learn TikTok. All right, fine. So I started my disc golf TikTok purely to learn the application. And it's apparently my most viewed thing. It's been really strange. I know disc golf's not huge on TikTok. Like it's a really small community, but more and more people are getting on it, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, Instagram is king, but
yeah, comparative to like Twitter, like there's a good community on Twitter, but it is very small.
Yeah, like when one of the most followed, it's the green account we don't talk about has like 7,000 followers. Like it's not.
They're
a
at
big
10.
Number. Are they up there? Okay.
Yeah, but they also are following like 9,700 people. So
sure. And there's a certain way, like you can tell that they do it where, and any account can do it. You see business accounts do this constantly where they will, and media outlets do it really prominently too, is where you can tell that some of it is like AI generated content where they'll just they'll literally type in like, give me 5 posts about this subject and they'll pick one. And you can tell when some of those are, especially if you've done it. And they contradict themselves constantly. And that drives me nuts when they'll say like, Paul McBeth is the most underrated player, and then 3 weeks later and be like, why is Paul McBeth the greatest of all time? So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that. That's what drove me crazy, and I eventually muted it because it was all my feed was that
Yeah.
account.
Well, I wrote an article for them a while back, like 9 months to a year ago or something.
Mhm.
God, it would have been so good if Crunchy just left after you said that. I wrote an
Right.
article for them. Boop. Gone.
Well, the Green Splatter account and I were good friends for a while back, like when they were early on, because they grew very quickly, quickly.
Yeah, very fast.
And we were buddy for a while, and I reached out to him like, hey, you know, I'm a writer by trade. You know, I'd be cool if I could, you know, work with you guys. And they're like, well, we can't pay you anything yet, but if you want to, you know, that thing.
Sure.
Right. Notoriety.
Yeah. Get your name out there. I'm like, bro, I have more follows than you. And then that changed very quickly. But and then I started like a medium.com page, which is like blog hosting.
I lost
and
you.
blurry. There we are.
There you
go. Stupid camera. Anyways,
It's having trouble picking up your goatee.
Rough.
It is.
It is. It is shocking every time I look in the mirror. So, did I say that? Did I talk about that on the podcast yet? It doesn't matter. Anyways, I started a Medium page to like kind of put all of my work together as sort of like a resume builder thing.
Sure.
It'd be like, look at all these examples of my writing, and I went to their website and just copy pasted it. Right? I was like, this is my work. It's got my name on it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I was like, you know, didn't realize that there's like things to that at the time. And then they reached out and they're like, delete that, please. And I was like, that's mine. And they're like, well, we're going to have it taken down if you don't delete it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I started clowning Green Splatter for a while. And then they blocked me to get me to unfollow them and then unblocked me. And it was like that for a while before I noticed.
That's a weird one.
It was very strange. And then they still refused to like interact with me because I'll be like, oh, good tweet occasionally, you know, like when it's actually a decent point. And they just, ever since then, they have completely blacklisted me. It's very strange.
They made you take down your own article that you wrote off a page.
Well, they didn't want him to reference it.
Yeah, they were like, this is our property, and Google gets mad when there's two versions of the same thing on the internet. And I'm like,
what? Absolute children.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was very strange. So
that is just SEO pettiness, is all that is.
So I was like, oh wow, my article that I wrote won't get indexed on your site. Crazy. But I didn't fight him at all for it. I was like, I'll take it down. Fine. I'll just link to your website if I want to reference it.
Right. That makes sense. And I was trying to find a second ago, I was trying to find your original tweet that got you the cosmic thing because I thought it was so funny, like the sequence of events on that.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, it was very. I could try to find it quick. If someone wants to vamp. No one. Check
Vamping. Vamping.
No, like when I search it, it's just it's your recent stuff about it. And then people who tag you saying like congratulations, like that's all I'm finding. Yeah. I haven't
so it looks like the original tweet was so Cosmic Crisp, take the leap and sponsor me and be the first Apple sponsor in disc golf. It would be electric. Twitter homies back me up. 26 likes, 7.2 thousand impressions. And then I followed it up with yeah, right, the impressions. And just kind of a bunch of nonsense. I mean, it was a joke, right? Yeah. Like I never imagined.
Didn't they reply to that tweet?
Not to me, to someone in the comments. They replied to somebody else because they were like, Cosmic Crisp is the best Apple, you know, something that like a corporation's social media manager would be like, oh, that's praise. Let me retweet and respond to this, you know.
Yeah.
Not some guy on the internet being like, sponsor me for disc golf. And they're like, disc golf? What?
Yeah.
And then, I actually had not heard from any of them until I got the DM back. Like they never liked anything that I posted or commented directly to me, except for that DM.
There are businesses though that I've even seen it where they don't ever make their own content. Like rarely, they'll make like whatever a post a month, but they'll respond to people who like they'll just basically search the hashtag or whatever, and then respond to those tweets or messages or whatever on like Facebook. So it just depends on how they run their business, right? So it sounds like they're one of those where they just respond to the actual interaction instead of creating their own content. So I mean,
yeah, they do create their own stuff, but it's usually selly, right? They're like, you know, enter a giveaway or look at this pretty picture of an apple or whatever.
But the majority of their viewership comes from the responses, I think.
Yeah, and they're a joke on another podcast, which you joined midway in that conversation. There's a podcast I listen to called Fuckface, and they're good buddies with that podcast, which is very strange for that company because they're a very sweet looking. Wholesome. Yeah, they're a very sweet looking brand. Like all their pictures are very like, for lack of a like picture like aesthetic, right? And then they are mentioned and sponsor a podcast called the Fuckface. So,
I mean, stuff gets weird. Like, what Wendy's got hyper popular in the mid 2010s because they were like a slam Twitter account.
It's the best.
Wendy's, where the logo's a sweet little girl, and then they had the sweet old man who was like the founder, and then they just shit on people on Twitter.
Oh god, it's my favorite kind of marketing. Don't get mad at us because you forgot refrigerators exist, Brian. Fucking get him, Wendy's.
Dude, do you know who D-Brand is? The company. Okay, so D-Brand do like phone skins, and they'll do it's mostly phone skins, but it's like they have like some cases. They'll do like PlayStation skins and stuff like that. But their Twitter is just as good as Wendy's. Today I saw one.
Opera GX is my like. Is the brand that I really like on there.
Oh, yeah.
Them and other extra loud, annoying Eric Andre YouTube ads that keep playing for me.
Who?
Eric Andre. Do you from?
No, I know who that is. Where are you getting those ads?
Opera GX. Every time I turn on YouTube, it's Eric Andre yelling about Opera GX.
Oh, I haven't seen that ad. Weirdly.
Oh my god, it's like it's so loud and jarring. It's like god damn. And you're like, oh well, I'll never forget the company, so it's effective.
Okay.
Yeah, I get. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're fine.
Oh, I get mostly like Verizon and US Cellular ads.
Yeah. So D-Brand, I scrolled one time and I saw this today. It was them responding to somebody. Somebody asked, the Kill Switch is like this mobile video game console, right? And they said, is the Kill Switch dishwasher safe? And D-Brand responded it to just saying, first of all, why are you eating food off your Steam Deck? Stuff like that. And so Dr. Dre announced like new Beats by Dre or something.
Okay.
So D-Brand put out a skin that like goes around like this part of the headphones and on the ear. And then they responded to their own tweet saying overpriced stickers for your overpriced headphones. Like,
get them.
It's just that type of
stuff. That's awesome.
I adore it. And they've also got, I'm in the tech world really hard, and they had a bunch of their stuff stolen because they would do those skins where it looked like you took the back of your phone off. So it's like X-ray is what they call it. But they put their own like Easter eggs in it where like the serial number will say like D-Brand or something. And someone stole it and put out like another major company stole the graphics and were using it, but didn't take the Easter eggs out.
They left everything. I read this whole article. I was like, you fucks.
Just a bunch of dummies. And so far that it was Caseify. So it's a giant case company. January 27th, somebody said, hey, what's going on with the ongoing Caseify thing? And D-Brand responded saying they still haven't filed a statement of defense. So like this is real going to court stuff. And
oh damn.
They are it's just been them shitting on Caseify for months during this whole like court thing.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's my favorite marketing. Sorry, that's what that gets back to is it's like almost more grounded in a way, I guess, because it's not taking itself seriously. It's not trying to put on some facade of being wholesome when it's not, right? So there's there's something genuine about it, and that's what I love.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a good. I think a lot of the younger the younger generation likes that unserious stuff, right? Like, I don't know where I fall. Some people say I'm Gen Z. Some people say I'm a young millennial. Whatever, doesn't matter really. But I think we all fall in that kind of group. That's like the Wendy's Twitter or the D brand or Opera. Like that stuff resonates because it's funny, right?
It's different.
Like I professionally I work in car sales, marketing for car sales and service. And I legitimately, this is morbid, but I legitimately have to go through our mailing list, like actual mailing list that we, like send people through USPS and shit. But I have to go through our mailing list and look for dead people because our demographic is so old.
That makes sense.
It does. You don't want to send mail to people who aren't there anymore for their family to get or whatever.
Sure.
It makes sense. But like, I don't know how to market to. I hope my boss doesn't watch this. I don't know how to market to old people. I really don't. We still do newspaper ads for them, and like
it's newspaper radio stuff is what I've heard.
Yeah,
like your local radio, but and just I have friends who have worked in the car service industry, and the overwhelming majority of them are like, just being on a road is all we need. And then old people will come back and get a new car every 5 years. So like,
it's less than that even. Like, most of our returning. I never thought that car sales would have such a high market for people that come back. It's like so quick, like returning customers. Like you think car sales is like one and done. Like you come back maybe in like 10 years when it starts to break down or whatever. No, they're like same. I've only ever bought beaters. Hi, Spicy.
No, I'm the same. Like, I drove my last car for 130,000 miles until literally it threw a rod while I was going 80 down the road. Like, I made 2 phone calls by the time it coasted to a stop. So, like, I drive it till the wheels fall off and fix it.
Exactly.
So,
and our used car lot is full of cars that have 20,000 miles on them.
That's the best deal in the lot then, because
it is.
You buy a new car and it immediately loses like 25% of its value as soon as you take it off the lot. Seriously,
like that's most of our business is this is a disc golf podcast. But yeah, anyways, what I was trying to get around to is the young people. Yeah, is like how that relates to being successful, moderately successful in disc golf, right, on social media, because it feels like a saturated market. Everyone can make disc golf content easily. You just need to record yourself playing around, not even playing around, throwing a hole, get like a 30-second video. And that's something. That's what most of disc golf Twitter, Instagram and
TikTok, any of the like video
TikTok is
applications. It's a lot of that.
It's a lot of that. And that's a lot of what mine is. It's either me throwing a hole or this podcast. So
sure. And like that's my like filler content when I'll just try to throw a unique hole and do something weird on it or something different, or try to like film it in a way that hasn't been filmed. Like I did the last one I put out, I put like the camera was in the chains, so like you barely saw me through the chains. Like it was just trying to do something different because it's pretty obvious that so many people just do that. Oh well, here's hole 7 at my local and I'm gonna throw it and try to par it. Like it's a lot of that. So, and like
I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because I think on Twitter I'm maybe viewed as a big account. I get tagged in weird stuff all the time where it's like, Shank DG, what do you think about this? I'm like, I'm just a dude. Like, what do you want me to do? Like I'm just like, this is something you need to ask the pro tour,
and that's okay.
But on Insta and TikTok, I got a artificial following on Instagram where I went and followed a bunch of people and they followed me back. So I've got like 1,200 people there, but like I get 6 interactions, and my TikTok is dead. So like I don't know how to do those platforms, and I think it would be valuable to listeners as well as me, selfishly, to know like where that success comes from, in your opinion, of course.
I think it's trying to change. So I've always lived by the motto, and I think it's especially true on social media, is if you do, as a business, as a person, as a content creator, if you do 10% more than than your competition, you'll like rise above the top quickly. I think that's all it is. Where
So I think it's just quantity and consistency. We're like,
I really think it's a quality thing, because I started out, I didn't want to overwhelm myself on TikTok. I was like, I'll try to put some short video up once every 3 to 4 days, and I'm still regularly on that that schedule, because I don't want to burn out the people who do actually enjoy watching me. And I don't want to burn myself out, right?
yeah.
So I occasionally sprinkle in those like, oh, here's this, but I like the disc reviews. I throw some like weird shots occasionally, and sometimes I'll do like the meme stuff. One of the biggest follows on TikTok, I feel so bad.
KK.
Yes.
The KK music guy. Dude, I was going through like disc golf TikTok the other day, and he has an insane amount of followers. Like an insane amount of followers.
Yes, and oh shit, the girl, I have Jessica Weiss stuck in my head, and I know that's not it. It's the MVP FPO.
Sarah Hokum.
Sarah Hokum, thank you. Sarah Hokum's now boyfriend, I think. His TikTok is huge too.
Really?
Yeah, and he does a lot of. He's much more like the meme, and he'll do like the. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
like the overlay stuff. He'll take like voice lines from something else and try to apply it to disc golf.
Yeah.
A
seems
lot
to
of
be the meta.
self-deprecation stuff, and that's what TikTok is. It's like voiceover meme stuff, and that's great. I'll do those occasionally. I don't have a lot of success on those necessarily. Like occasionally I'll get a video that gets like 5,000 views, and that feels good for those 10-second clips. But where I've found my own niche, and I try to encourage other people to as well, is find the thing you enjoy doing, and then see how you can make that into profitable is a gross word, but self-profitable. How about that?
Yeah,
beneficial. That own thing. Self-beneficial thing where it's like, okay, I do this thing, people seem to enjoy it, and at first, if you just like, as long as you enjoy it, I think that's the important part, because that keeps you from getting burnt out. And then if you enjoy it, you'll keep doing it. If you're trying to do something you don't necessarily enjoy, you'll burn out quick. You'll stop doing it. It can come off as disingenuous. And so from like, I hit my niche with the like small coaching thing, where I'll do like, tips and whatever, because that's my background in coaching. So,
and those are usually the ones that pop up in my feed. Like,
right. Those are my ones that have like 30, 40, 50,000 views.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm going to focus more on this year. And I'm going to try to transition that to my YouTube, because I don't do much on YouTube. But I'm going to try to do more of like the long form coaching stuff on my YouTube channel and see how that goes.
Really cool.
We'll see. Right. But, back to what you're mentioning, like TikTok especially, it is so unique in the way that, like, you start an Instagram and you won't get a following quickly unless something is insane happens, or you're very, very lucky. TikTok is, if you mildly pre-plan what your account is going to be about, it pushes new accounts more.
Yeah.
Like that's just how TikTok works. Like you start a new account, you make it your first 3 to 5 videos or something, get more exposure. So if you can like lead into it a little bit, it's helpful. And I already had like an idea of what I wanted to do with my short form stuff. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I think that a couple of my most viewed videos on my account are the first, in the first 10 that I posted.
Yeah, that's just how it works. And then honestly, like Instagram, take the finished TikTok thing and put it over on Instagram. Like,
Gotcha.
I use Instagram selfishly. I don't care to grow mine necessarily. So
Gotcha. I was gonna say, do you see a algorithm squashing from the TikTok logo floating around the video?
I don't think so. I have random ones that kind of pop off fairly well compared to the other stuff,
Interesting.
and it still has the TikTok logo.
Gotcha.
I think
'Cause
the
it-
audio becomes more of a problem because, like, that big. Have you seen that recently? The TikTok didn't sign with Universal Records or whatever, and then
Yeah,
Yep.
and they had to pull all the music off of there.
hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of videos got muted. They were
Except
smart
for
about it
mine.
though. They were smart and they gave you a notification,
Mhm.
and if you went to the video, you could click on it and change the audio.
Yeah,
So
and then
at
you
least they
probably
were
got a put back in the feed
algorithm.
You know,
Yeah, so they were
so maybe
smart
you could go
about it.
again.
That very quickly could have like backfired on
hmm
TikTok, but no, I haven't noticed a bunch. I've always
Interesting.
seen Instagram as like Instagram turned into this thing that is like everybody's highlight reel, and I
Yeah.
don't use it as that at all. Like, oh, here's
Yeah.
like you go to somebody's Instagram and that's how you get depression because you're like, everybody's doing so much better than me.
Yeah.
And so I've never used Instagram in that way, but selfishly, I use to follow accounts that I enjoy, and there's
Mhm.
just a larger pool of people to find things on Instagram. But I would say, as far as like account growth, TikTok is the way to start if you wanted to do video content. Anyways, photo content obviously
Yeah.
is whatever.
Yeah. I wish Twitter was friendlier to video content.
It compresses it to death.
Yeah, the quality goes to shit instantly. You can only upload 2 minutes and 20 seconds worth of video
Unless you have the pro,
unless
or
you have
whatever,
blue, and then you can do as much as you want if you. But like, no, I'm not paying for your fucking
No.
check mark. Like, but like, yeah, the Instagram, it's like I've been trying to use it more, and I figured it might be a thing where it's like use the platform consistently, and then the algorithm will reward you. You know, like
Mhm.
I was relatively inactive most of last year. The account existed, but I wasn't doing much on it. And I've spent the last month or two since the podcast really trying to like bring it back to life, and it's just not working.
And something that also helps accounts too is more of a cross promotion thing, but like doing the response videos, like why am I spacing? Stitching, thank you. Where it'll show like the first 3 seconds of somebody else's TikTok, then cut to your response to whatever it is. That does very well for new accounts as well, because it feels like it pushes the responses or your video to whoever you responded's feed.
Yeah, that's like the inviting collaborators on Instagram. So like I've been doing that to Spicy, and he's been so nice to say yes.
I've been kind of quiet because I'm not like my socials. I don't have a tactic. I'm not looking at like who sees what. I got sponsored by not doing anything specific on socials.
Sure.
I was just myself. And so I keep it that way. But I don't have TikTok because my friends are fucking relentless with sending me TikToks, and it's like I don't have time to open a 1,000 videos a day that you send me of a fucking pig climbing some stairs. Like I don't care, and it's just like I can't. It's so overwhelming for me. I can't do it. I tried. I really did. I dated a girl a while back who was real big into it, and I got tired of opening a browser and having to like do a CAPTCHA, and then like then I could watch the video. So I was like, whatever, I'll just download it. And it was like, and then I tried to download it like maybe 6 months ago, and it was just, I hate this.
Yeah. TikTok is the worst, like when you sign up for a new account, because you get everything that's quote unquote popular, right?
Oh,
and the things
the
that
new
are
account stuff sucks.
and like like trying to get the algorithm.
Like,
no, it's really not. Like people, like I signed up for a new one just because I'm doing a side thing that Spicy knows about. And I started a new account, and I was going through, and like kids are mewing, which is apparently sticking the tongue to your roof to get like a jawline. It's the stupidest meme I've ever seen, and like
by the way, that's been a photography trick for 30 years. Like that's not
yeah.
new. Like
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
wasn't posted on TikTok.
Yeah, the kids have discovered it, gave it a new name, and now
have
it's
you seen this before? And it's a clip of like Billy Madison. It's like, yes, I have. Thank you.
Look how mad
20
the
years
penguin
ago.
is. He's in a suit. He's not making a face. What the fuck are you talking about?
Too damn hot out here for a penguin. But
and
no,
that's just showing our age, right? Like
for sure. And that's
like
like I'm 31. Like I'm not that old, but I'm also like I was raised in the internet, the age of new internet.
yeah.
So it's so much of stuff like, oh, I've seen this happen before, and like
Yeah.
but with the algorithm thing too, I will say that Instagram's like the way, if you're going through reels on Instagram, quite frankly, I think it sucks at figuring out what you like, and TikTok is way better at figuring out the stuff you actually enjoy.
Yeah, you just have to like stuff.
Yeah, you have to like
That
and
you like it, and then it'll eventually sort itself out.
it takes some time though. And and by the way, it sounds like I'm hyper analytical about my social medias, and the only thing I really do is just try to keep to like every 3 to 4 day post schedule. And the hyper analytical side of me is paying attention because it's my job and I'm doing this for other companies, and I'm trying to figure out what works and how to cross promote these companies and all that stuff. But my personal TikTok is,
listen closely.
Y'all are fine. Keep talking.
my personal TikTok is just, that's what it is. It's personal. And like my disc golf TikTok is my personal TikTok. I don't have any other accounts. So I think my feed recently there's like some disc golf stuff in it, but it's mostly like Rainbow Six stuff because I started doing that again.
Oh man.
But it's a lot of like goofy, cute animals. So zero shame in that.
My Instagram is all big titty golf girls, but we don't have to talk about that.
Don't worry. There is a TikTok for that, sir. I promise. I've found it. So
slides phone out of pocket.
And I will say what's kind of annoying, and Instagram does it too, and Facebook does it too, is like if someone sends you a video and you watch it, you'll randomly get videos like that for the next month. Where you're like, I don't give a shit about this guy's raised Ford truck at all.
Yeah.
It just happened to be the context of some goofy meme somebody sent me, like making fun of Ford trucks. And now it's like, I get hillbillies talking about the trucks every, like, yeah. So
I send the Ford Raptor jump to people just to fuck with them and give them Ford truck memes. Or they took a Raptor and they put it up on snow tracks instead of wheels, and they were driving it
actually sick
around in the snow, and that was pretty cool. And then it was the only thing I saw for months. So
yeah. I'm sure when we finish this podcast and I'll go to doom scroll again, we'll start getting,
my
the new
phone's
Ranger
right here. It's
ads.
listening to me. Like I'm going to have these things when I scroll.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no! You know what? I hope my phone doesn't give me is discount codes for disc golf stores.
Oh yeah, man! It'd be a shame if it told you to use Hanging Loose at Great Lakes Disc, or no. Oh wait, no.
Crunchy.
Use Crunchy DG at Great Lakes Disc.
I'm listening.
No. Use Crunchy
My link's
Disc
in the description.
Crunchy
If you want to
DG.
do that, that's great. But
or stay spicy at OTB.
Or stay spicy at OTB.
Yeah,
if Great Lakes Disc doesn't have it, go to OTB.
You got.
Go to Walmart, buy some Cosmic Crisp apples, and tell the cashier that you know somebody that's sponsored by them, and like get into a fight or something.
I'm gonna go steal one. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, go steal a Cosmic Crisp from Walmart.
I'd be like,
I actually endorse that. Do that.
I'll just drop
For legal
a
purposes,
dollar
that's a
on the
joke.
way out. Keep the change, bitch.
Oh, that's why I picked red today. Was for the Cosmic Crisp.
For the apples?
The apples, yeah.
This is actually a Cosmic Crisp. I went to the store yesterday and had to pick some up. I have a UPS delivery coming to my house tomorrow.
I was gonna say, aren't they sending them to?
There's two scenarios here. Either they send me a box of like 8, right? And they're like, "Oh, thank you," or they go all in on the joke because they know I'm a fuckface listener, and they send me like 20 boxes of apples.
I'm thinking they like back up a truck to your house.
Yeah.
It's like that scene at the end of the Santa Claus, or at the Santa Claus when he gets the list, and it's 80 FedEx trucks full.
Oh my god!
Tim Allen shows up. He's like, "You want to do cocaine?" And you're like, "Tim, that was way in your past."
If a
Relax.
semi shows up to your house and some dude gets out pissed, you know you're in trouble. Like you just go to your local like homeless shelter and be like, guys.
Sorry, Leonard.
Oh,
Actually,
man.
that might not be a bad idea if Cosmic wants to hook you up with apples to take to shelters.
That's not terrible. They did. So what's weird about working with, I don't know how much of this I can say. I really don't care. Not like they're going to watch this. So I'm not even working with Cosmic Crisp necessarily. I'm working with the marketing company that Cosmic Crisp
outsources or whatever.
Outsources. Yeah. It's called
Or
Harbor
it's a daughter
Creative
company.
Group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a ambassador for Cosmic Crisp.
Right.
Which is because like you think about other sponsorships in disc golf, right? It's shops, it's manufacturers. You might have LLB. I think
Is he practice putting?
Yeah,
I guess
8 feet in my living room.
8 feet in my living room.
Missed one.
Yeah, those are the ones you got to work on, bud.
For AMs by AMs.
Or AMs, baby.
I didn't do a kick flip and make mine though. Sorry. Or was it a tray flip? I missed it.
It was a kick flip. Yeah,
sorry.
I hadn't stepped on a skateboard in like 6 months, and I don't like the putt was the hard part. I was like, oh shit, I got my kick flips back pretty quick, and the like not looking at the basket and trying to do this, like here's my lamp. If I'm trying to hit that lamp with a disc, it is so hard when you're not looking in that direction. So that's honestly what took the longest, and it was probably 8 to 10 feet.
That's funny because I walked over there and went, wow, you can't miss one on camera. And then I missed one. I mean, it wasn't technically visible, but
the worst I feel is on when I'm doing those lives and I'll talk about things like that I changed in my form and why I changed it and what the like coaching idea behind it was. And if I miss that next putt, I feel like an asshole. It's like, yeah, it's 20 feet, but still, I just talked up like, oh, I did this to like change my weight shift to try to keep everything on a straight line. Clank. And it's just like,
bandit.
Like when you get a new disc and you're like, this thing glides for days, but you're only going to see it go 13 feet until it hits that tree.
Yup.
I'm going to throw this straight into the ground. Watch this.
When I got that crave, the Pop-Tart crave, and it was like a card of 10 people, so I didn't want to be the guy to be like, film me, you know?
Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to try and hit this. It's like maybe a 8-foot gap in this tree. It's on Twitter. You can look it up if you're that desperate. But like,
I think I've seen it.
It's a very difficult gap to hit. And I was like, yo, if I brag about this to my friends and don't hit this gap, I'm going to look like an absolute piece of shit. And then I pured it. So it was great. It's one of those rare
That's
dubs.
a good feeling.
Yeah.
That's a good, especially in the woods. Like, but this is I've seen pros do it where they miss the obvious line, but they kind of take a little side route. And then the announcer's like, oh man, that was such a great shot. And then you'll see the pro turn around like,
yeah, like,
I missed
got away with one.
Yep.
Like me every time I get laid. I just
Yeah,
walk out like, fucking really? Oh, shit.
I got away with it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that reminds me of like, I know they're kind of polarizing, but foundation stuff. There's a thing that Hunter says in there that he's like, trees are 90% air. And his success rate with that, like, nonsense is insane. He's just like, I'm going to throw it at a wall of trees, and he gets through it every time.
Those
Not
guys are
every
also a
time.
little better than they lead on to.
They are,
They
yeah.
played collegiate disc golf. Like Trevor is the true like bi-ams, 4-ams guy. Or not Trevor. Connor is the
Connor. Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I can relate to that guy. Like,
Yeah.
But Trevor and Hunter are like, they played college and
You're sneaky good.
yeah, they're kind of sneaky good, but
They
they
came
also
and played.
like they'll cycle out their bag like every month too. So
They came and played Vista against my friends, Dylan and Zach. And
I
we
watched that.
Further.
Yeah, I'm in the bright pink shirt. You'll see me in the background many places on that video.
Oh, I need to go back and watch that. How did I?
Yeah. And they're very good disc golfers. I mean, the first time they were like really ripping on a drive, I was like, oh, I mean, you only have 2 dimensions when you're watching a video on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
full flex is a full flex, whether it goes 250 or 550.
Yeah.
And so seeing them actually in person throw, I was like, oh, all right, cool. And they were like, razz us. And oh man, I'm sure I got muted in that video probably because I was not holding back at all.
That's awesome. I need to go back and watch that.
I definitely will. But so, I mean, I like most of their stuff. I'm kind of annoyed that they turned the Banger GT, Ringer GT thing into a meme. And now the Banger top is like going to be the one that gets put into production.
Yeah, I finally got to
fully blame them for that.
Yeah, I finally got to try the what do they call it? The battle pack or something. Finally got to try it out. Some guy I was playing with earlier this week had both of them. The Bang Zone is the most horrendous feeling disc I've ever.
Like unless you have 2 specific grips, it feels terrible.
Yeah, I can see how it's fine for forehand, like you just don't put your thumb in the groove and you're solid.
Right.
But
if you have the Nate Sexton forehand, it works fine. But if you have like the normal one, like it pushes your index finger away from the plate. So
yeah,
like it feels like I'm holding it on Anheuser when I'm actually not holding it on Anheuser, and I know that's just in my head. But
it's all about confidence with the disc, right?
Correct.
Like that's all people are looking for.
And you have to like have a certain fan grip, otherwise, like it's pushing your 2 fingers away from the plate. And also, who doesn't want a Discraft Pig, which is the Ringer top?
Yeah,
but I mean, it's cool that Discraft came out and said they were gonna PDGA approve both.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're going to be always at all.
I was gonna say that was the plan the whole time.
Yeah, it had to have been.
But I love that stuff. I love like that marketing's great. I love the Ace Race thing that they're going to bring back. I used to do those all the time back when they did them. I know we're coming up on an hour. Can we talk about the LVC?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hey, you can talk about the LVC, but you leave Jeff Chakwa's name out of your mouth because
that's fine. No,
he's a very good friend.
I'm pointing no fingers. I'm just this is more of like an administrative thing that drives me insane.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I've helped run tournaments. My tournament, like our county tournament, was the cheapest B tier in the state, and it was a 2-round B tier. We had payouts. We paid out like top 35 to 40% or something. It had pro payout. We had $1,000 added cash. And then our players pack was worth more than the entry fee. And the entry fee was only $35 for AMs.
For a B tier?
Yes. We also cut costs for the female divisions and junior divisions. So junior and female divisions were like $20 or something.
Oh, dang.
And they still got the full players pack. So and it wasn't like a bad players pack either. It was like last year, it was like the giant Prodigy umbrella and a couple other like things that sponsors gave us to give out. So it was worth way more. Like just the umbrella alone is like $40 on their website. But shout out Prodigy because they are so good to work with as TDs. As far as like the stuff they give us and the deals. So that being said, the other day I was wondering, like, I was thinking about like the resale market and stuff. And then I was like, oh, well, that Las Vegas Classic Firebird is always like the highest selling disc every year. I saw multiple sell for like $700 last year. And I didn't even look anything up. I was just like, oh, what's going to happen with the Sexton Vegas Firebirds now that it's not on the PDGA Tour? And somebody was like, oh, well, it's still happening. And I had no idea. That it was.
Wait, they're still doing the LVC?
Yeah, they're still doing the LVC. Ricky Wysocki's playing it.
I might be up there filming FPO.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought they cut it. I thought like they were just done with it.
Nope. It's still happening. They just don't have it on the Pro Tour.
Just like the Memorial happens.
It's correct. It's still by Innova. But they kind of what they did was they sort of combined the AM stuff with it a little more. There was always an AM side of the LVC, but it just seems like they kind of swished them together a little bit. So it's still an A tier. Like Aaron Gossage is playing it. I'm scrolling through to see. Casey White's playing it. Calvin Heimberg's playing it. I'm just
AB.
Isaac Robinson's playing it. I didn't see AB's name, but I may have missed it.
Maybe because it's not a Discraft event.
It could be. Nate Sexton's playing it. It'd be weird if Nate or AB didn't play it, but there's still there's plenty of reserve spaces. Like it hasn't filled up yet. Ricky Wysocki's playing it. Robert Beard is playing it. But yeah, so like big names are still playing this tournament.
Yeah.
Right? The AM stuff isn't quite full yet, but it's getting there. And so I'm on the disc golf scene page. There is no listed players pack. There is no payout for AMs. $0.
Like they explicitly said no payout for AMs.
They explicitly said trophy only for AMs.
Oh wow.
They claim there's a players pack, which I believe they will. They just maybe don't have it together or whatever. But
or it's you go to
like I'm one of those guys. Like until I see it and you prove it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it is $255 for AMs to sign up.
To sign up?
Yes.
Like
$255. That is the minimum. If you want to pay for parking, it's another $40.
Oh, well, they might not do MA4 at LVC, but like MA3?
MA1 for sure. MA50. They have like the age protected MA50, MA2. There's no MA3.
No MA3? Okay.
So I think that's just
MA2
they don't have enough courses, probably.
Yeah.
But they still have MA1. They still have all the age protected ones. So, and I understand that they need to make money for like the FP40, the MP40, the FPO, the MPO. Like I know MPO's payout's going to be good. So even all of that said, their title sponsor, Innova, is giving them $100,000. Like their Innova factory store is giving them another $50,000. There's like multiple jackpot sponsors for over $10,000. There are full house sponsors for $500, $1,000, $1,500, $1,300. All of these like all listed on the general entry page of disc golf. It's the prices of these tournaments are fucking crazy.
That's insane. Yeah. I mean, I was looking at not to detract, but I was looking at a flex start that I was looking at last year, and I think it was $20 to sign up last year. It's $35 this year. It's called the Hiawatha Tundra Flex Start or something. I was like, $35 for a flex start?
Like the cheapest like A and B tiers around here typically are like almost $90, $100 now.
Yeah.
Like I understand it if it's 3 days because like certain things have to be met. Like 3 days is a lot more work than 2 days is a lot more work than 1 day. So I understand that price goes up the more days you have to run these events.
Yeah.
At the same time, I am not a Nate Heinold fan. I will just say that straight up. But if he has done anything for our sport, it's show that you can make a shitload of money throwing a great tournament. Like Ledgestone is the largest AM tournament in the country. I think
it's got to be. Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And they doubled the size of the MA1 field to come for this year. So like he still gives like hundreds of he gave like $100,000 to the church that the hospital that he always gets, St. Jude's. So if there's anything Nate Heinold's done, it showed that if you know how to get sponsors at all, you can throw a great event. And they paid out like 60% or something crazy of AMs. And I understand it's to the Ledgestone store, but still. And they give these insane players packs that are absolutely worth more than what you pay to get in.
Oh, so,
yeah.
We were briefly looking at getting being a whole sponsor for Ledgestone. So I could go attend and do the thing there.
Yeah.
The players pack is insane. Like they're giving away a grip bag plus a bunch of discs, some shoes, and then a bunch of optional stuff. You know,
the year before you had the choice to get a basket.
There's a basket this year too. You can get a grip bag or a basket. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's one
or the other.
And meanwhile, and I'm not pointing any fingers toward any person. It's just crazy that another A tier that's as prestigious as what the Las Vegas challenge is $255 with no listed players pack and trophy only.
Yeah.
And then I see all these other TDs complaining about like, oh, well, we have to do this price. And I'm like, well, who are your sponsors? The players. It's like, can you just look around for half a second and you can get like businesses will sponsor it. We had
Yeah.
businesses sponsor them. Again, that's how we threw a $35 B tier. It was one day, so there's something to be said about that. But we did payouts, we did the players packs, all of that stuff. So
Yeah. If you're so working with, I don't know if it's the same across industries, but working with Ford, right? Like Big Daddy Ford, they have allotted advertisement money for each Ford dealership in the United States. Well,
Mhm.
it's broken into zones, but for
right.
ease of understanding, we sponsor stuff. We sponsor anything and everything as the
You don't
dealership
use it,
because
you just
it goes away. We
right.
just give Daddy Ford the receipt and they pay for it. Like
And this all ties into if you just ask, you'll get an Apple sponsor.
exactly.
I was so excited to be a sponsored player. Then you're like, hey, I asked these Apple people for stuff and they gave me $1,000. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. Seriously, if you're a TD or you want to be a TD, like me and Josh Weens are looking to throw a C tier this year.
Is
Maybe
that how you say it? Weens?
Weens, Wenez. I don't know.
No idea. I've only
I
read
thought
it.
it was
And I will never
Wenez.
guess.
Right.
I've always said Weens, but it could be Wenez. I've never asked him. But
Sorry.
we're thinking about throwing a C tier. And like, point is, if you're a TD, just go to local businesses and ask. The worst they're going to say is no, and you'll be in the same position you are.
That's
best
Totally.
case
And by the
how I
way,
feel about
they don't
everything
care
in
to say
life.
no,
Yeah.
so don't be offended by it.
Yeah, like
There are so many like local business group Facebook pages that you can post to get to hundreds of people that own businesses. Like,
yeah,
and if 1% of them get back to you, that's still more money than you had going into it.
in the first place. Yeah, our usual sponsors for the area. It's Wooden Foot, which is a restaurant. Pablo's, which is
Yeah,
a burrito place.
we have a brew
Like,
pub that sponsors a lot of stuff we do.
yeah, we have Pablo's, which is just like a quick burrito place, you know.
Yeah.
And we have Accretion Discs, which is like our local. But like a lot of our sponsors are just off the wall. Like they just either someone that works there plays disc golf, or like they were just asked and they're like, sure, you know.
And I know Nate is part of the reason that the Disc Golf Pro Tour has gotten all these super weird sponsors. It's because he's not afraid to ask people.
Yeah,
Like the halal guys,
he's not
That
afraid
is
to ask
all over the place.
the DGPT to be their providing insurance provider.
That's true.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how they say it's okay, like not a conflict of interest because Nate Heinold said no to money, but it's still
Listen, like I said, I'm not a Nate Heinold fan. The Ledgestone event is genuinely great. I think they might be price gouging the spectator passes sometimes, but whatever. I think everybody is. I don't even know if that's up to Nate. That might be up to the DGPT. But so I've seen that too, where there's a thing now coming in next year that if you get a player's pack that's digital, you have to use it within 30 days of the tournament.
well, that relies on the tournament, the TD or providing sponsor to get you the
Correct. And
digital thing in time.
That's what's weird. Is that rule, like, I heard this from a person who's very close to Discraft, and it's Discraft Ledgestone, right? So they want this to happen. And I just looked at him and I go, is that because everybody was holding their Ledgestone payouts until they had like actually something good drop on the Ledgestone store? Because I know a lot of people that did that. And I was like, wait, this rule had to come from Nate. Like,
Yeah,
I saw him vocalizing problems with people not using their payouts, and it was in every email. Like, make sure you use your payouts.
Well, I also saw people, I think it was from Ledgestone, complaining that it had been months and they still hadn't received their players pack, all of their players pack at that point. You know,
there was some weird, like if you got the add-ons, like certain things.
They took forever to show up, and it's like, I mean, when it's like a digital, like a gift card to the Ledgestone store, right? I mean, that's you just got to hit send on a code generator.
They got this pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, I mean that stuff's easy to make, but like, I don't know. It's a lot of.
They had to do it anyways because you could, if you did it if like you get your payout, you can go to the Ledgestone like their Fly Mart, not the Fly Mart, the Ledgestone store that they have there, and it's huge because they set up like an extra thing. But you can just use your payout right there. Like you can pick up the disc and walk out with them. So they have to figure out those numbers anyways, and then it's in a spreadsheet and they click send. So the payouts are easy to get to people. But hey, Anthony Barella is playing it. I just saw the thing.
Hey,
He just signed
he
up.
might be needs to take out that cameraman, finish the job from last year.
But yeah, so like I said, this all goes back to like local TDs just have to work this much harder to get their stuff sponsored. And if you're throwing a B or an A tier, run C tiers to help fund your B and A tier. That's what the Indianapolis Club does, and it does great. They do like weird doubles stuff, and there was like a chili cook-off tournament, and like they do all of this great stuff to help fund their like 1 or 2 big events a year. So
absolutely, yeah. Just
sorry, I'm still mad that I'm looking at this LVC thing, and I'm like $255, and it's $290 if you want to park to play. And they're like, well, greens fees are $100, and I'm like, Innova gave you $150,000. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Just looked at the the tournament that we are going to be sponsoring, which is the Desert Flyers Open 6 here in Phoenix. It'll be sponsored by Hanging Loose.
Let's go.
I want to play like MA2, and it's $120. And our sponsorship, our sponsorship for the whole tournament was $200. So it's like,
yeah,
what? I don't know. Where's the math on that?
You said it's a B tier?
Hold on, I was just looking at it.
Yeah, let me know how many days it is, and let me those are the 2 important numbers. I think is how many days.
It's a 2-day, March 23rd and 24th.
Okay.
It is.
Is it trophy only?
It's a B tier. Let me look at payouts.
I was gonna say check payout and see maybe the players pack's dope.
Payouts will be given to 40% of all divisions, including the AMs. AMs get paid out in bags. Discs are merged from Dynamic Disc Phoenix. Pros get 100% payout plus added cash. Player pack includes a custom stamped disc, which our name will be on. Custom jersey, which our logo will be on.
Let's go.
And then it says goodies, which feels like a bit of a cop-out. It's just saying like, oh,
It'll
we can just
be
throw
like-
some
It's like
stickers.
pencils.
It'll be
and stickers and
koozies and the stuff you can get off.
those
like
really
Alibaba
small
Steam.
minis.
Oh,
Like not
Top
even normal minis. Like the
can toppers.
yeah.
I love me a can topper.
that I don't think that's too bad. I'm
No.
not gonna like. It also depends on the course and all that stuff. But like, you know what? Like,
My first mini ever.
Nice.
Thanks, Jeff.
But like, and again, to back up a little bit, there is supposed to be a players pack. So, and I know Innova goes hard on players packs. I'm no secret to that. I play the pumpkin shootout in Southern Indiana. And the players pack was like bonkers. They had like 200 something discs
pumpkins on the tops of all the baskets.
Dude, they did over 300 pumpkins throughout the course. And there's a glow round before it where all the pumpkins are lit up. Like the glow round is the night before.
I was going to say they should put a pumpkin on top of all the baskets, and if you lodge your disc in a pumpkin, you take a 0 for the whole.
No, on hole, it was like 15 or something. If you hit the pumpkin off so you had to pay into it. It was kind of like an ace pot, but it was called the pumpkin pot, and it rolls over every year. So they keep track of it. And like if you hit the pumpkin with your drive, it was like $3,000 or something. It was like a large number. It was so cool. But they had like, I forget how much I think it had to be like $80-$90, and it's a B or an A tier. I can't remember off the top of my head. But like it's events all weekend, including that glow doubles thing, glow random draw doubles, which I got dead last in. It was so much fun. I'm terrible at doubles
Let's
and have no
go.
depth perception. And I was also paired with a guy who was hammered before it even started. He was the oldest guy who played doubles that night, and he was hammered.
He
I
just
swear
said
to God,
making a double a bunch and thought he was hysterical. He's like, making a double. Like, shut up, Tim.
no, hold on. It sounds more satirical than that. After his first throw, he turns around and goes, I think I had too many high noons.
Oh, God.
So he
Rip.
was just plastered. And I'm playing, by the way, I'm playing a course blind in the dark. And
So literally blind.
Yes, I doing this and throwing. I was just
Yeah.
good. But it was so cool because all the lights all the baskets had like orange Christmas lights up them.
You know, now that you're describing
so
it,
sick, dude.
I think I remember you posting it.
Paul Kearns played it, or no, Paul Oman. Paul Oman. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
He won MPO. He's the sweetest guy.
He seems like he would be.
He's tall as hell too. That doesn't come across like on coverage, but he's a tall dude. But he was so like, he just dunked on everybody. There was the pro turnout wasn't bad, but that's where he's from. He's from that area. So he comes back to play that. Excuse me. He comes back to play that tournament. And he's such a sweet dude. Is he on Innova?
I feel like he just signed somewhere new this year. He was one of the movers.
Paul
I'll look.
Okay. But it's
our weekly league this week. We had AB and Gossage showed up. It's like, oh fuck, why did I even come out?
Why did I even show up?
Brutal.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
The pumpkin shootout, they like Thursday they do all the pumpkin carving and stuff. Like you can come and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they host food and stuff. Then Friday's the like glow doubles, I think it's Friday. I might have the days a little off, but Friday's like there's a flex thing in the earlier that's kind of more of a fun thing. And then there's the random draw glow doubles at night where all the pumpkins are lit up. And there's, like I said, hundreds of them. And then there's like a pumpkin carving contest that's like the day before. And they have a winner for that. They pay that. And then the payout was like, there was like a full picnic table, like of stacks of discs that all had the pumpkin shootout logo on it. And you could choose, it was like Rock 3s, Firebirds, T-Birds, Bosses, Destroyers. Like you could choose from any of these discs for part of your payout. And then there was the Touch. Are you guys familiar with that?
Oh, yeah. It's like the thing that you spin the disc in.
Yes. I don't
know what that was, but
towel pouch.
Yeah. It was the Touch. So
Paul says Tree Love Disc Golf. That's the only sponsorship I see listed on his Instagram. Sorry, go ahead.
Interesting. He thanked a couple like sponsors. Like he was so gracious with his like little, hey, our winner of MPO. And he walked up and he said, oh, shout out to so and so and so. And then he would like thank the community and was such a genuine dude.
Oh,
so I'm a Paul Oman fan from now on. But Trevor Harbolt played, and there was another pro or two. Like people know pro, but that event was so good. It was like, but there was all of that stuff. You still got a payout. You still got your players pack, and it was like an $80 or $90 tournament. So, 2 rounds. I think it's a B tier because it was 2 rounds on. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday. 2 rounds on Saturday, and it was 2 different courses. So
nice.
But sorry. All that to say, like, if you just put in a little extra work.
Yes.
It is so easy to get your event costs down. And I understand if it becomes a supply and demand thing. If you're throwing a dope tournament, I'm looking at you, Ledgestone, and it fills up in 2 minutes, looking at you, Ledgestone, the entire thing filled up. Except for the female divisions. The female divisions, I only think 2 of them filled up. But if they're paying out and they're doing all these dope things, giving away money, and they're selling out in 2 minutes, I totally understand if you have to raise your price because supply and demand, right? Like, I mean, understand that, but they're not. Like every time if they raise their price, they're like, oh, and you're gonna get a basket or cart or whatever. Like, it's so crazy because they do all these partnership and deal brands, and I understand that your local C-tier is not necessarily going to get Zuka to sponsor it. But you never know till you ask. Like, we didn't think we'd ever get Prodigy to like fund and sponsor our tournaments, but it was the Delaware County Open powered by Prodigy. So we just asked.
Yeah.
And so
You just gotta...
it really comes out to that. And quite frankly, too many TDs are too lazy to do that. And I think we need to out TDs who are too lazy and get them out of here because I'm sick of it. It drives me insane. I see it so often, these like $80, $90 C tiers, and I'm like,
for what?
Yeah, for nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm done ranting.
You're fine. Actually, upon further inspection, Paul is on Inhibidiscs. I've been listening and researching. I'm that guy.
Love it.
Heck yeah. We got
good production.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, thanks.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He always comes back to play it. And like I said, he's from that town. But you know what? I'll look it up super quick because I'm already on that page. So.
Jamie, pull that up.
To fill the space a little bit. Does anyone know what a Jeff Corns is?
A Jeff Corns?
Corns?
I know that name.
I know who Jeff
he's
Corns
a Discraft guy, right?
Discraft,
yeah, he's Discraft, and he is balling out of control. I just saw a TikTok of him, and he is like living in a mansion. He's driving nice cars. Like, what does he do? I remember him in early videos.
He's like lead marketer or something for.
Okay.
Hold on.
He's somebody at Discraft for sure because he's.
I know him from old Yuli videos and like when Brody Smith first came on the scene.
Oh, like, he also owns Resistance Discs, I'm pretty sure.
He's the tour manager at Discraft.
Tour manager at Discraft. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, he's my friend Sarah's sponsored by Discraft Underground, and he's even with her, like, and this is obviously no discredit to her, but she's like brand new, barely played like maybe 8 events.
Mm-hmm.
She's injured for 6 months right now. She's expecting a child, and Jeff takes all the time out of his day to like make sure she's taken care of all the time. So
that's awesome.
From what I've heard, he's a good dude.
Heck yeah! So he deserves to be balling out of control.
Okay, I mixed Jeff up with the other guy at Discraft who does all of their videos.
Bob Julio.
Yeah, I mixed them up with Bob, and I saw Bob at Ledgestone. He was walking around in this like brand new baseball Paul Macbeth jersey and had like 3 gold chains on and had these sunglasses, and I was just like, doing like,
yeah,
this is hilarious.
The video I saw was Jeff Corns like hopping out of, I think it was like a Rivian truck or something, like one of those like electric trucks, and it was like slow-mo video from like a ground angle, so he was looking cool as shit, dressed to the nines. Like, it was just so weird to see that guy like that.
But I'm not seeing how much the cost of the pumpkin shootout was. I was trying to find it, but I had $750 added cash. I don't know if that was Innova or not. It doesn't say specifically. That's the problem with Disc Golf Scene is like after the tournament's over, it closes certain things, and it's kind of hard to find stuff. But if I'm doing the entry fee breakdown right, it's 53, 54, 55, 6. It's like a $60 A or B tier.
Oh, damn.
$60 B tier with all of that stuff. Like, so they're doing it right, and I'll happily go back and do that stuff. But
all right. Well, Crunchy, first guest ever to double up.
No, Papa's been on twice.
How does it? Oh, that's true. He doesn't count though. He's like,
yeah,
I mean,
he counts it in the same way that he counts it the same way that Nate Heinold is your favorite TD, but also your least favorite TD.
Oh, okay. Sure. I will never compare Brian to Nate Heinold ever.
Yeah. No, he's our Nate. Our Nate. Just kidding, Brian. We love you.
I don't want to be here. For that
slink away.
Good God.
RV3, cut that. No, I'm kidding. But anything you want to plug?
No, I'm stoked to be. I mean,
not after that.
I'm sponsored by Great Lakes Disc. No,
it's kind of shitty that Nate Heinold has that much of a connotation and he's associated with our sport.
Yeah, like he does
just
stuff,
like
but then it's like he'll do stuff
that's like cool as shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hold it upside down. I really thought I was going to hold it upside down. Great Lakes disc, and then it's hard to see because it's black on black. Dark Ace disc golf.
Dark Ace. Yeah, I
And-
just watched the founder on Courtesy Violation.
Yeah, George is
That was
good
pretty
too.
pretty cool. That's 4
Yeah.
plugs for you, Courtesy Violation. Now I'm gonna need you guys to catch up. We've gotten 1.
So
So,
get it.
Nah.
Get the
you're
fuck
3 in the
together.
hole. Come on now.
That
You're
in
gonna
and
put
of
on next
itself
week.
is a courtesy violation. So
That is a
figure-
courtesy violation.
Listen, this is a sponsored podcast, sir. We're going to need some income if we're going to start throwing out people's names. Okay.
Yeah.
So far, the bottom line is $1,000.
Yeah.
Is that Dark Ace hat flex fit?
This one's a snapback,
Snapback?
but I have a giant head.
Me too. What's your
I-
hat size?
8.
Oh, mine's not that big. You're like Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy wears like 8.5.
I got a big
Jesus.
dumb head. And by the way,
Abs-
my favorite part is like I have a pre-existing condition where one of the ventricles in my head doesn't pump out fluid. So my mom liked to blame that on my big head. And then I'm like 18 and I go and pick up my brother's hat and I put it on and it fit. And I go, this is genetic, goddammit,
We're
mom.
all
Like
got big ass heads.
it's our whole stupid family. Like we're all big dumb headed guys. Great Lakes discs, Dark Ace disc golf.
Dark Ace.
Those are my people. I've got TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, YouTube.
Same handle everywhere. Crunchy DG.
Our-
Crunchy
RV3,
underscore
check this
DG on
out.
most things. So, yeah, and if these two guys are nice, they'll put my link tree with all of that stuff somewhere in the description, maybe.
I think we could do that.
Caleb handles that, but I'm gonna
The-
give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. Well,
Appreciate
we
you.
already discussed what the money line is. So
Yeah, and I am not on it.
no, absolutely. We can put your link tree down below. Look for that as well as all the other links to whatever else. Shout out Mojo Gear, Great Lakes Disc for sponsoring the show. Cosmic Crisp Apples for being cool as shit.
I love that
Easy.
you get to say that at the end of the podcast. I'm sorry.
I know, right?
It's wild. Like no reason.
No,
Shout out
I mean-
Cosmic Crisp. That's cool as shit.
OTB, Premier Flight, those are mine. I'm working on a cashew sponsorship as we speak because I'm shaped like Mr. Peanut. So we'll see if we can get that.
Yeah,
And
try.
Don't know till you ask.
Exactly.
And then they say no, and then you know.
The theme
Yeah.
of the podcast. You don't know till you ask. So
Absolutely. All right, Crunchy. You didn't have to do this last time. Give us a scream.